Welcome to Keto Beyond the Couch, episode 220.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Joe.
And we are two crazy ketos.
And if you're new to our channel, welcome.
Yes, welcome. If you're new here, say hi down below.
Now, here on Two Crazy Ketos, we do different things like recipe videos and we do product reviews. We talk about various keto topics, and every Monday, we go live on Keto Beyond the Couch because life exists beyond the couch.
You can find us in different social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
And we have a website, which is twocrazyketos.com, and that's where you're going to find all of our different recipes. Now, we do upload at least 5 new videos every single week, so make sure you subscribe to our channel.
And don't forget to hit the little bell icon, and that way every single time we upload a new video, you'll be alerted to it.
So, welcome to Keto Beyond the Couch, episode 220. And no, this week is not live.
No, because we have some plans for Memorial Day. Happy Memorial Day to everybody. And so we wanted to make sure that we got it in and didn't have any type of like technical difficulties. We wanted to be very careful today because we know that a lot of people will be home for Memorial Day and, you know, they may be using internet.
Yeah.
Right?
And our experience is when everybody is home, the internet for Comcast stinks.
Yeah.
So we decided to just pre-record this. But if you're watching this when it goes live at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, Rachel is live. I'll probably be in there as well in the chat because we'll just be premiering it. And every once in a while we like to premiere a video. And that means we are live in the chat when it first launches.
Say hi, Rachel. She'll say hi.
So this weekend was awesome. I actually had some clients I took diving. They got certified last Thursday, and then I guided them along our reef system here in South Florida. They did amazing.
Was it unique to be able to like swim on your back more? I mean, you're using different muscles, I feel like, every single time you're diving, but you have to keep eyes on them like the entire time, right?
Yeah, well, because 2 of the people that I was guiding, they literally got certified Wednesday, and then Thursday, and then I took the mom and the 2 children out on Friday. And so this is like their first dives, not in an instruction course.
Wow.
And so there was a little bit of pressure, and you're like, their life is in my hands. So I, pretty much did the entire dive, like, come on, follow me, like 1, 2, 3, okay, everybody's here. But they did great. We did 2 dives on Friday, and then we did 2 dives today. I gave them a little bit more leeway. They saw some giant turtles.
Wow.
Lionfish. We had a good time. And then you, of course, got to do your dream, which is just hang out with your grandbaby.
Well, I thought that, you know, I had the better weekend even though you had a beautiful weekend. It was just so much fun. I got to stay 2 nights with John Paul and Michelle. They live about an hour and a half, 2 hours north of us. And so sometimes, you know, if you just have an afternoon to spend, you can kind of eat up your family time by just driving and coming home.
Yeah.
So it just made sense. They have an extra room, like John Paul's office. We just put Oma in it. And I had such a big time. We drove up to Universal Studios and Volcano Bay to just play around in the water with Peyton, and she had such a big time.
I mean, Peyton just loves her Oma.
Well, not as much as Oma loves her Peyton.
Yeah. And then, I mean, you guys had a great time. Look at her. She's all covered up there to go to Volcano Bay.
Michelle and John Paul are like such great parents. And one of the things that they did was purchase this like onesie outfit. I love the infant wear that they have now because it's like, how many times do I apply, you know, suntan lotion to a baby? I mean, they, you know, pretty much make their own, but it's like, you're always worried that a baby's going to get burnt.
Yeah.
I mean, with this Florida sun, and their skin is very tender. And so she's like, you know what? I'm just going to buy something that covers her from like top to bottom and not worry about it.
I love this though. I mean, she just loved playing in the water. I mean, look at her just, I guess it's hard. You really need to see the video of it. But there's like that water just keeps shooting up with lights, and she's just like tapping and playing with the water. She had such a good time.
She's our little mermaid, and I think it's great that if you're going to be born in Florida, you better enjoy the water, right? Yeah. And she does.
Now, I do want to mention a couple things. Number one, today, if you're watching this on Monday, Memorial Day, today is the last day for the Perfect Keto sale, which is up to 40% off. I will leave a link for that down below, as well as there is a 15% off sale for carnivore crisps, and I'll leave a link for all of that down below. But I did want to just say that today's video is sponsored by Keto Brick.
Yes.
And Keto Brick comes highly recommended by our daughter, Michelle, who said that Keto Brick is one of the best ways that she's able to get her fuel in to do her breastfeeding.
I know. How cute is she? Did we have like the most beautiful daughter or what, right? And she just happened to have a Bell's brownie batter Keto Brick with her. She always packs a ton of like charcuterie type of like food with her, because you never know, you know, what it's going to be like. And because it was Memorial Day weekend, it was very busy at the park. So it wasn't just like you want to have good quality ingredients that you're eating, but you also were able to beat the line. The line to get anything was crazy this weekend. So yeah, she had it with her and she was like, I am so glad that they are back in stock. Make sure Opa gets us some Keto Bricks, because this is really a delicious one.
Yeah, so the Bell's brownie batter was released yesterday. And again, it's a limited thing. I don't know how long they're going to last. So when you're seeing this, they may already be gone.
Yeah.
But you might want to go check it out. I'll leave a link down below. And if you use the code 2krazyketos, you will get $12 off ordering at least 2 bricks. Now, if you don't know what a keto brick is, this is a meal replacement bar. This is not a candy bar. It is 1,000 calories. It is 80% fat. It is the brainchild of our good friend Robert Sykes, Keto Savage. And very, very good ingredients, very low in total carbs. I think, depending on the flavor, I think this one is like 10 total carbs.
But this has all
This one is 13. Some of them are as low as like 7.
But this one has all of the awful
organ meat.
Offals.
But it doesn't taste like that.
No.
It literally tastes like brownie batter. So I will leave a link for that down below, and we appreciate you guys supporting the sponsors who support 2krazyketos.
Now, you know, we like to use a certain size silicone mold that's almost like the size of a Reese's peanut butter cup for us to make.
Like the mini ones.
Right. For us to make, you know, like the puck into more, you know, servings. Mm-hmm. Michelle uses one even tinier. It's like a little tiny, it reminds me of like the size of almost like a Rolo.
Right.
And she likes to eat it that way. And it really fits in. And she's like, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. You know, it's the perfect size.
I do the mini cupcake ones, and I basically break one brick into 8 servings. That means each one of those is 125 calories. And I'll usually do like 2 of them. I take them on dive trips. I take them all the time. Let's jump right into Keto Beyond the Couch. And we're going to start off with our Keto College Adjunct Professor of the Week. And a lot of times this is an inspirational post. Somebody who found something, puts up a meme, something to keep us going. But I wanted to change it up this week and put up a post from somebody who is really working hard to change the way he's working. And I'm inspired by what he's doing, and I'm hoping that other people are inspired, and that is from Tim.
Hey, Tim.
And Tim just put up, he has started doing some walking, working his way up, and look at this, 5 days in a row.
Wow.
Started off with 0.45 miles and ended up after 5 days, he's up to walking 1 mile.
Tim, way to go. I am so stinking proud of you. I love seeing him post like pictures of his food, but like this is also like a huge win. Mm-hmm. This is a huge win. And I think it's a challenge to all of us to start somewhere. And I know that it's hot. You know, it's so funny. It was like when it's the winter months, you're almost like, well, it's too cold to go outside, or like the weather isn't cooperating and I can't do it because it's cold. And then sometimes when the summer comes, it's like, well, now I can't do it because it's hot. You know, right. It's never going to be absolutely perfect. If it is, it'll be for 15 minutes, right? But get it in, get some movement in. And I think that you've challenged all of us, Tim, to just like be purposeful for it, and also to be consistent 5 days, like every single day, getting some movement in.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be a lot. You can do it inside, you can do it outside. You know, we can always find an excuse of why we can't do something. And we can also always find a reason of why we can do it.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a lot. It doesn't. You don't have to start off running a marathon.
No.
You don't have to start off running a 5K. Like Tim literally started off just like a little bit in the house. And every day, can I do just a little bit more? So congratulations, Tim. Keep up the good work. Let's move into our subscriber of the weeks. We have a couple of them this week. The first one is going to be from Kathy.
Hey, Kathy.
Kathy said, the first day of school versus the last day of school.
Aw.
I'm a substitute teacher. She said, size 24 to a tight 18. Thank you, the keto community, for all of your encouragement and your support. I'm looking forward to my active summer of biking, swimming, and hopefully kayaking.
Wow, Kathy, way to go. I love that. You look fantastic. What a difference. That's like a huge win, right? And it can be very stressful as a teacher. Absolutely. So I love the fact that you already have plans for your summer. I am going to have an active summer. Like you've already decided now, and that's a great way to hold yourself accountable because you can look throughout your week and be like, okay, did I get exercise in, movement in? And it sounds like you have some fun things planned. It's not just going to the gym, but it's like getting outside, getting some sunshine, and just like enjoying some fitness.
Yeah. Next one we have is from Sarah.
Hey, Sarah.
Sarah said, went out to Magic Kingdom today to celebrate that I start my PhD program on Monday. 81 pounds down from my highest recorded weight of 295. I know I was over 300, but I stopped weighing myself. Feeling fantastic now. I also look forward to exercise.
Oh, Sarah, you look incredible. Oh my gosh, I love that top so much too. Like, where did you get that top? That is super cute. And what a great way to celebrate this next chapter of your life. I love that so much. We should never stop learning.
That's right.
I feel like that is a passion that like we share, right, with Sarah, which is I am not too old. Just because I've like raised kids, this is like not it for me, right? There is more learning to happen, and I'm so excited for you starting your PhD.
And we have one more. It's from June.
Hey, June.
June said, today is my 58th birthday.
Wow.
And this way of living is my gift to myself. My hubby and I started January 26th. I was actually feeling discouraged, and the picture on the right came across Keith's timeline. He called me at work and said, do me a favor, take a selfie. I can now say I'm no longer discouraged.
Oh, wow. June, that is stinking awesome. And what a great husband. Like, that is the way to encourage somebody. Because again, sometimes like we don't realize like how far we've come, and it really takes our partner to encourage us. Like, what a great husband. And I would like to just take a moment. Let's sing happy birthday to June. Okay. What a great name for this season, right? Yep. I love it. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear June. Happy birthday to you, and many more, so many more.
Okay, let's move into the first comment from YouTube last week. It was from Andir.
Hey, Andir.
It said, a question. I have been doing keto for 4 months due to prediabetes and high blood pressure. My A1C is slowly going down. Last year, I got tubs of perfect keto flavored collagens. Do you think they are still okay to use in morning with coffee? Would they spike my blood sugar too much? I switched over to heavy cream, but not sure. I hate to waste them. Don't know other uses for them. Yes, you could absolutely use that. Remember, first of all, I don't know if you're concerned about a Best By date or anything like that. Remember, Best By dates is just a Best By date. It is not. If you consume this after this date, you're going to die.
Right.
That's not what they mean. It's just like guaranteed freshness date. But it is still good. You're not going to get sick from it. If you're worried about it increasing your blood sugar too much, it shouldn't, because they're sweetened with stevia. And they use like gum acacia, so they should not be increasing your glucose. A lot of people worry about like, what is a spike? A spike would be like where it shoots way up. Going up 10, 20, even 25 points is not really a spike. You also have to look at how quickly does it come down. But we use the Perfect Keto Collagen all the time. And like we said, right now, if you're still looking to get some more for anybody, today is the last day of the Memorial Day sale.
Yeah, I love it. And we've worn continuous glucose monitors several times while utilizing those products, and us personally, have never experienced like a problem with them.
Next one is from Activate Mission to This Timeline.
I love that name. You Crazy Ketos freaked me out. I was talking to my wife about good and bad keto cereals, and you talked about this minutes later. Like, we might be like Facebook, right? We're listening in. I picked up Catalina Crunch at the store, but put it back after checking reviews like cardboard that's hard enough to crack a crown. Yes, I would say, like, taste is subjective. So like some people may absolutely love Catalina Crunch, but we have become like very hypersensitive about dental issues after $30,000 worth of dental work on Joe. And so now I'm like trying to preserve my teeth for as long as possible. And I will say that we have tried it in the past. And first of all, it wasn't tasty enough for like the carb count on that for me, or the ingredients.
I'm not keen on the ingredients.
And I found it to be very like hard, and even using like nut milk with it, it didn't seem to like wear down, which scared me a little bit.
I don't think they're going to be sponsoring our channel anytime
I don't
soon.
think so
We don't
either.
like their cookies. We don't like their cereal.
But here's the thing, anytime you see us affiliated with a company or we're talking about a company, it's only because we use the product.
That's right.
That is it. It's got to be part of our lives. Like we were talking on the live stream on Thursday, and like one cereal that we do recommend is Magic Spoon. Like that's one that you can buy in the stores. We see it at Sprouts a lot. It is very good. We're not affiliated with Magic Spoon.
Because we don't really use it. It's not that we don't like it, we just don't use it.
We don't use it. So like I am not going to say, hey, I think you need to buy this and we're affiliated with it if we're not going to use it. Because I think that that's like just not, that's insincere.
Next one is from Janice.
Hey, Janice.
Tell your mom I'm 67 and can't hold a candle to her.
Aww.
Tell her she is my inspiration.
Janice, I'm going to tell you what. That is going to absolutely make her day. Thank you so much for that encouragement, your kind words. She really is encouraged by the keto community as well. It's not like just because you've been doing keto for 5 years, 6 years, 10 years, that a kind word of encouragement isn't something that like keeps you going and motivated. Because just like, somebody getting started may be surrounded by people who aren't keto, we're surrounded by people who aren't keto. And my mom had recently like gotten together with some friends who pretty much were like, are you still doing this? And she was like, I am still not a type 2 diabetic.
That's right.
Like, can we still celebrate this? Yes, I'm still doing this. This was a lifestyle change for me, but it's not like sometimes the people in your closest proximity are your biggest cheerleaders. So she's really thankful for you guys.
Next one is from Stacy.
Hey, Stacy, you look beautiful, Rachel. Thanks, Stacy. I have a friend that is harping all the time about salt is bad for you. Can you please help me to make her chill?
I strongly recommend the book called The Salt Fix.
Yeah.
And if you can get them to read that book, it's also available on audiobook. I'll leave a link for it down below. It really will change people's minds about salt. And the bottom line is we need salt. And our body is really good at regulating the amount of sodium that it keeps in the blood. Drink a bunch of water, it'll flush it out. Don't drink a bunch of water, it'll kind of hold in. But many people don't consume enough sodium. And so if you do your research, you will find that a lot of people who have high blood pressure actually have low sodium. And I was one of those people, and that when you would increase your sodium, your blood pressure comes down. Again, we're not doctors, nurses, or health professionals, but we do highly recommend that book. And I think that if you can get her to read that book, it will really, really help. I can tell you this. I have even now a slightly low sodium level in my blood. I have perfect blood pressure. I have a coronary artery scan of 0, and I consume somewhere between 7,000 to 9,000 milligrams of sodium a day.
Yeah. I mean, recently we were like at SeaWorld, and even they were talking about how it's like interesting that like even the sea creatures regulate salt, find ways to regulate their salt levels. And I thought that was really fascinating because you're thinking like, well, there's, obviously like a killer whale is not going to be doing that. But yeah, it's like they even use the things that they eat to be able to regulate their salt. It was amazing.
Next one is from Mr. CS.
Which supermarket eggs are the healthiest? I can't have my own chickens.
Okay, so we've actually talked about this in a vlog in the past. And so here's the thing. When you go to the store, the eggs that you want to buy are the ones that say pasture raised. It doesn't necessarily matter which brand. There's like Vital Farms, there is the Happy Egg Company, but you want ones that say pasture raised. Pasture raised means they're raised on a pasture.
Right.
Sometimes it'll say that they have access to shelter, but they're out in the sun, they're eating the bugs, the worms, they do get supplemental feed, but that's okay. The reason you want them is because they're getting all of this sunlight. When they're getting all the sun and they're out there and they're getting the bugs and everything else that they're supposed to be getting, the vitamin D that they're getting from the sun gets passed right into your eggs, and then you're getting more vitamin D. After that, a lot of them don't mean much.
Right.
So you're going to see eggs that say free range. Free range, in order to be labeled free range, all they have to do is have access to the outside. It doesn't mean that the chickens are living outside. It means they have access, which could be a giant hen house with a little tiny door somewhere in it that goes out to like a 3 foot by 3 foot square. But there could be thousands of chickens in this hen house with one door. They have access.
Technically.
But it doesn't mean they're actually going out there. So free range, in my personal opinion, kind of a waste of money.
Yeah.
Then
cage-free.
The cage-free, that just means that they're not in a cage, but they're still all bundled up. So that means pretty much nothing.
Then you have vegetarian fed. That's not a chicken. Like we have chickens, let me tell you, they prefer meat over, like you don't see them out there.
They're vultures.
Right, eating grass like all the time. No, they don't like that.
Yeah, so to me, when you see an egg or a carton that says 100% vegetarian fed, I would run from that.
Right.
Because basically what you're saying is these eggs came from chickens that are not being fed the proper chicken diet.
Right.
Because chickens are not vegetarians.
No.
They're just not. So the only other egg, so if you can't buy the pasture raised, like either A, you can't find them, or maybe you can't afford them, the next best egg would be organic, because at least they're being given organic feed. The feed that they're having is from non-GMO sources. So that would be the next best. After that, just buy the cheapest eggs, which I know are not super cheap anymore, but that's the range. So we either go with our backyard chicken, or we buy pasture raised, or we buy the cheapest eggs. All of the stuff in the middle, the free range, the cage free,
just
vegetarian
marketing.
fed, it's all marketing
Right.
to get you to spend more money on eggs, and you don't need any of it.
It was funny. We were at a farmer's market this morning, and somebody was selling eggs, and they were like, pasture raised eggs. No, seriously, my chickens are pasture raised. And I just thought that was so cute. I should have taken a picture of it because it was an adorable sign. Because yeah, I mean, I think a lot of times companies market certain things to people, but she was just letting everybody know, like, they're living their best chicken lives.
Yeah.
And that's what you want.
It's like our chickens. They are pasture raised. Do they get feed? Yes. But they also spend the entire day digging around in the dirt, digging up my grass. If you go look at my grass right now, I have none left because we didn't have a bunch of rain. A bunch of it died. And as soon as it starts dying, they decide, free for all, let's dig holes and find all the worms.
Right.
So I keep re-sodding it, and then we get a dry patch. So now I'm waiting for the rainy season to start. But yes, they get supplemental feed to make sure they're getting enough. But they eat whatever they find. Bugs, worms, roaches, they'll eat anything. They'll eat me if
Lizards.
I go lay down there.
They love lizards.
Yeah. Let's take a quick commercial break and come back with some more comments.
And we're back.
Okay, first one from Facebook is from Marie.
Hi, Marie. Did some of you manage to build muscle and lose fat at the same time? Some sources say you can only build muscle if you have a calories surplus, but I'm having less calories because I want to burn a bit of fat. Did that work in your experience? I mean, measurable building of muscle when you are skinnier and always see more muscles that were hidden behind the fat, but I am talking of real muscle gain. I am currently having 90 grams of protein regarding to Dr. Berg. That is already too much.
Okay, so a lot to unpack here. First, yes, you can absolutely gain muscle even if you're eating at a lower calorie on keto.
Yeah.
Because you're getting fuel from your fat. So that right there, you can do that. There are a lot of people done that. Rachel has done that. I have done that. So you can, because you're not consuming the calories, because when you hear people say, well, you have to eat in a calorie surplus to gain muscle, they're eating carbohydrates. So they need to have fuel coming in. You're using your fat for fuel. So yes, you can do that. Now, if you're trying to lose weight, you may not actually lose pounds as you're gaining muscle because it's just going to kind of even out. But that's where you'll see body recomposition, and you really see that like in something like beef, butter, bacon, and egg. As far as your protein, though, if you want to build muscle, you need to eat more protein. 90 grams is your bare minimum.
Yeah.
And when I say it's your bare minimum, that's your bare minimum just to maintain your muscle, to get amino acids for all of the bodily function. That's the minimum that you need. You should probably, if you're looking to gain muscle, and again, I don't know how much you weigh or where you're at and everything, you should probably be closer to like 120, 130, 140 grams of protein minimum if you're trying to put on muscle. You need to consume protein to gain muscle.
Right.
Not a lot, but you do have to be consuming protein.
And you want to be using those muscles. You want to be strength training, right?
Yeah, like I'll tell you what, the people that I were guiding this weekend, I had to do their tanks. You want some functional fitness? Try every day, twice a day, carrying 12 scuba cylinders from the parking lot to the boat and then back out and then back into the shop and filling them up and then back out to your car. That's some functional fitness right there.
Oh, absolutely. And well, I had some fun fitness today. I think I surprised John Paul because we were doing as we walked around where the farmer's market was, it was a beautiful park area, just like a really great place to just, that's where Michelle does a lot of her running and stuff because it's just such a pretty place to run. And so they have all of those things that are using your body weight in order for you to, work out while you're outside. And one of the things were some for real tall monkey bars. So everybody, we were all doing it. And I think John Paul was a little impressed that Mama Bear can hold her own. And it didn't have the step up that you're used to with monkey bars at school.
Right.
You had to jump up and be able to hoist yourself across. And I was like, Mama still got it. I felt pretty good.
Next one is from Janelle.
Hey, Janelle, I really wish more places had an a la carte menu. Example, my sister-in-law and I went out to dinner for her birthday and they had a really delicious sounding salad. Greens, tomatoes, avocado, crab, shrimp. My goodness, that does sound good. But the dressing was honey vinaigrette. I just can't imagine that flavor combination being any good. That's just me though. But they had a Southwest ranch on another salad, and I asked if I could have that instead. The waitress was really nice about it, and it's a good thing because we ordered a few more oddities. Can I have the nachos without the chips? Can I have the vodka shrimp Alfredo without the noodles? Does anyone else feel like Sally from the restaurant scene in When Harry Met Sally? Janelle, yes, I do, but I don't want you to feel weird about it. Don't think that you're the only one. When I was in line for the restaurant that John Paul and Michelle and I went to coming home, it was Portofino's or something, Portobello's. It was a chain, but it was a really cool fast casual place, right? Mm-hmm. And so every single person in line seemingly asked for like a substitution of some sort, whether it was just like a taste preference for their dressing, they wanted extra of something. And it wasn't just like keto people, it was people that wanted like, I want two sets of fries instead of this, right? Like, so don't feel weird about it, because I think that a lot of people need to make adjustments, and waitstaff is prepared for it.
Yeah. What I tell people is when you go to a restaurant, don't be afraid to ask for a substitution. There was actually somebody in the Facebook group or in Mighty Networks talking about, they went to Five Guys and they asked, hey, can you wrap it like in lettuce or hold out the bun? And they were asked, is this a preference or is this an allergy? Mm-hmm. And the reason a lot of times places will ask that is because if you tell them it's an allergy, they'll prepare it in a different place.
Right.
When I go into a restaurant, here's my feeling. I'm paying them. So don't be afraid to say, hey, I need you to make a modification. Be nice about it. Don't be nasty about it, but be nice about it. But I have no problem saying, listen, I'm allergic to sugar.
Right.
And I know some people have said in the past, well, that's not really a right thing. I am allergic to sugar. If you give me sugar, I'm going to have a very bad reaction. I mean, I have not eaten sugar in 6 years. I can't even imagine where I'm going to go. I mean, last week you accidentally drank like 4 sips of a Diet Coke and your blood sugar skyrocketed and you were driving and were feeling dizzy and anxious. I don't want that to happen in a restaurant.
It was awful. You're right, because it has been like several years since we've consumed sugar. And so I was getting gas and getting on the road, and we went to a racetrack, and I wanted a fountain soda, and my mom and I both got a Coke Zero, and they had like messed up the lines. And I'm driving down the road, and I, like you said, just had taken a few sips, and I started to feel like very wonky. And here I am driving, right? Like we pulled over until like it went back to normal, because I didn't feel safe like driving with this. But yeah, I had a huge spike. My CGM started blaring. That's where we knew it was time to like pull over, because my alarm started going off. And I looked, and it was more than 100-point spike. It was significant and scary. So yeah, this ain't nothing, right? Yeah. Like, so it's very important, I think, for us to alert waitstaff. If you're going to a fancy restaurant, you're going to tip appropriately too. Mm-hmm. So like they want to give you good service. I think what it is, it's hardest for us to ask for something for ourselves. I think some people just have, a personality where they're like, hey, I need this, so I'm just going to ask for it. But I am definitely one of those people that's like used to just making do, and I equate asking for what I need as like discourteous, right? Or like I'm an imposition to people. It's like, you're not an imposition to people. This is a restaurant, right? Like they're prepared to make adjustments.
Yeah, and that is why people ask us like, why do you guys like going to Brazilian steakhouses so much? Because it's pretty much a la carte, I can go in there and I'm paying for the meat. And I'm going to get what I want. I do have a hard time going into restaurants and like saying, that's why I don't do fast food anymore. Like, I don't want to go in and buy something and go, I have to throw out the bread, because they're charging me for the bread.
Right.
I mean, when we go to Universal Studios, you can say, hey, I don't want the bread, but you're still paying for it. Hey, I don't want the fries, but I'm still paying for it. So we do tend to look for places, even if it's a little bit more money or it's about the same amount of money, where that I'm going to just get what I'm paying for. Yeah. And I don't have to pay for stuff that I can't eat anyway.
Right.
So next one is from Joe.
Hey, Joe.
I'm just looking for some suggestions. What is a good place to look for recommended keto-centric blood test recommendations?
Great question.
So what I would suggest is go buy Kim Howerton and Dr. Berry's book. So I'll leave a link for it down below. It's called Common Sense Labs, and they go through everything that you need to know about all of the different lab tests, what to look for, how to analyze them. They even give you the codes for what they are when you go ask for them. Then what I would do is recommend going to Own Your Labs. There's a link down below in all of our videos for ownyourlabs.com. It's run by Dave Feldman, and they use that to help figure out what's going on with people's cholesterol and stuff like that. So it's part of like the citizen scientist group, but it's very, very cheap. They've negotiated amazing rates. And if you use that link, when you click on it, you'll see some of the blood tests that we always get, but then you can add other ones on. And then if you use the code, I think it's 2krazy_ketos, you'll get 5% off. And then when you get to checkout, if you say, hey, you can use my results as a citizen scientist, you'll get another 10%
It's
off.
anonymous.
It's anonymous. And then what happens is you pay for it, they send you the lab order, and then you go to a LabCorp, you get your blood drawn, and you get all your results back within a couple days. And it's a nice, easy way. And for example, I recently used Own Your Labs, and I got my full blood set up. I got an NMR cholesterol. I got my testosterone, my thyroid, fasting insulin, all of that. And it was like $145 for all of that blood work.
P.S. just in case, like just throwing this out there, we expect things as far as like, with cholesterol or A1C, like, fasting insulin, all of these things to like be really good on a keto diet. But we were super impressed to like see like how it's blushed testosterone also. So like, I mean, I know that this matters to people, right? Like, I mean, here we are 6 years going on 7 now for you for, keto. Testosterone very high and happy, right? Okay, so I'm just putting that out there.
Yeah, I would definitely go ahead and do that. And then here's the cool thing is then you go back to the Common Sense Lab book and you can kind of analyze stuff. Because some of the things, they're going to come back as like, hey, this is off, this is high. But that's for people who are on the standard American diet. So then when you go back to Dr. Barry and Kim's book, you can see, oh no, I don't have anything to worry about. And they also both have lots of videos on it. We also have a video where Dr. Sivis analyzed ours, giving us his medical advice to us.
Right.
Based on our labs. And if you go back and watch that video, you'll see like, Rachel had a total cholesterol of over 500. I think mine was like 380 or something like that. And he was like, you're perfectly healthy. Now, the standard American diet doctor is going to be like, you should have been dead 6 months ago.
Right.
But when you looked at all of the other numbers, and that's what you have to do, he's like, you guys are really, really healthy. And that's where Dr. Barry and Kim's book is going to come into play and really, really help you. Next one is from Gisela.
Hey, Gisela. Losing hope. In 2018, lost 15 pounds on keto effortlessly in 3 months and kept it off. Managed to gain back 25 in the past 2 years. Back in December, I was down 14 and have gained that back again. Been strict once again since May 1st and just keep seesawing back between losing a pound then gaining back. I love the to eat meat until your full idea, but is there anyone that's done that doesn't really work for? I can't even say that I'm getting off track. I eat meat occasionally. I have some yogurt. I use keto bricks for a sweet treat and PSMF pudding made with keto chow as an occasional treat too. I walk 10,000 steps a day. Usually I have 2 meals with no snacks and my sleep is pretty good. The efforts with no outcomes are mentally exhausting. The thought of having to resort to restricting calories makes me even more upset. I did a round of triple B and E and didn't have much weight loss either. Okay,
so Gisela, what I'm going to recommend is, first of all, we gotta do one thing and do it for a while. That's right. First of all.
How long is a while?
You can't be seesawing back and forth. Anything you're doing, you should be doing for a minimum of 30, 60, 90 days. I'm going to recommend closer to 90 days.
Yeah.
Pick what you want to do and do it for 90 days. And I'm not trying to come off mean or anything like that, but you're saying you're only having 2 meals but no snacks, but then you're also saying I'm eating keto bricks and yogurt and PSMF pudding as occasional treats. So
is that part of the meal?
Is that part of your meal, or is that like in between meals, which would be a snack? My advice would be this: track for 2 weeks. I'm not saying to restrict for 2 weeks. I'm saying track for 2 weeks. I know for myself, I am guilty of, I'm not really eating that much.
Yeah.
But then when I start tracking it and I go, oh, like if every time I put a nut in my mouth, I go, okay, I had that. If every time I have a keto brick puck, even if it's with a meal, maybe I say I eat my meal and in 5 minutes after my meal, okay, I'm ready for a dessert and I'm going to have 2 keto brick pucks. Well, maybe I forgot to put that down. Maybe I'm not measuring out how much heavy whipping cream I'm putting in my coffee or butter in my coffee. I would go from using the line on butter or using a scale to, that looks like a tablespoon.
Yeah.
And those little bits throughout the day can add up. So when we say you don't necessarily have to count calories, that is true if you're eating appropriately, but the more you add in, the more you get away from only eating beef, butter, bacon, and egg, the more we add in sweet treats where we don't really have that shut-off valve for, the easier it is to overconsume the amount of fat and fuel that we need to eat. So I would say track for 2 weeks and then take a realistic look at how much are you eating? And then you may have to go, yeah, I might have to cut down. Also, something that Rachel will definitely want to talk about is where's your sleep and your stress level?
Yeah, I mean, you're saying that the sleep is pretty good, but is there room for improvement there? And also the stress. Stress is a major thing. I didn't think that it was that big a deal because I had been bearing it for so long. But it really does impact me, not just in emotionally, causing you to emotionally eat, but it causes, me to not enjoy what I'm doing, because sometimes you will tap out of something because you're frustrated. Frustration will have me sway back to, well, if this isn't even going to work anyway, I might as well just go back to the way I was eating because I enjoyed my life better there, So I think that keeping your eye on stress is very important because it can also impact sleep. A lot of times if you're stressed out, that moves it from being my sleep is pretty good to my sleep was terrible last night, right? So it's very important to keep your eyes on it. I also highly recommend journaling, talking to yourself, keeping a conversation, because I think sometimes if we're I only check in with me to see how am I going once a month, and I reevaluate once a month, I can forget a lot of things that happened 20 days ago, right? I need to keep eyes on things. So just like Joe is saying, I'm not saying track every single day, eat to your macros. I'm saying write down what you're authentically eating and then take a look at it later.
Let's take a quick commercial break and come back with the remaining comments.
Are you barbecuing today? That's my question. No. I know Anthony is going to be barbecuing a lot. He's in charge of the grill today.
First comment we have is from Rita.
Hey Rita, OMG, I got a weightlifting book meant for women and the author recommends 400 to 700 grams of carbs per day. I was floored. Decided right there to send it back to Amazon because that was a load of BS.
I'd want to use it for a fire.
Yeah.
400 to 7. That is insane.
That is absolutely crazy. Just absolutely nutso.
So again, people talk about this is going to affect your blood work. What is 400 to 700 grams of carbs a day? That is going to skyrocket your glucose.
Yeah.
And that's where we have to look at, we were talking with the blood work before, that when they say this is a normal result, it's based on this.
You talk about living on a roller coaster, 700 grams of carbs today, you are going to live sick.
And there's no such thing as an essential carbohydrate. You don't need carbohydrate. So I really want to know why you need to eat that many carbs, because it's just fuel. Why do you need to eat that much sugar? Because if you eat that much carbs and sugar, you're going to have some awful crashes.
Maybe I'm just very excited for the cruise, but I just want to see that as seafood, right? Maybe it's 700 grams of crab a day. I could get on board with that. I love me some stone crab. Don't you love stone crab?
No, I don't.
I love stone crab.
I know you do.
I would eat 700 grams of stone crab a day.
Next one is from Lisa.
Hey, Lisa.
What are some good sunscreens y'all use? I want a zinc mineral base. I'm not a big fan of sunscreen, but my son cleans pools and is out in the Arizona sun all day.
Nice.
He's getting burnt on his shoulders, and I'd like to find something that might help him out. Thanks. We have a great recipe to make your own sunscreen. Very basic ingredients. The main ingredient to help you prevent from getting sunburn is zinc. I do not recommend any regular sunscreens because they have too many chemicals in them. And in my personal opinion, I think those chemicals are causing more harm than what they're trying to prevent from. A lot of the chemicals that are in sunscreen, if you pick it up, are known carcinogens. So we're
Right.
putting a known carcinogen on our skin to prevent cancer. That
Yeah.
makes no sense to me. So I would highly recommend making your own. Or you could just literally buy zinc paste and rub that on his shoulders. Like, he will absolutely not get burnt doing that.
Well, and I know that, like, it is visually white, but I mean, you're at work. It's not like, you know, sometimes it's hard to put that on a middle schooler or a high schooler because they're like, it's so visible, but it's working. It is working. It's doing a job. It's really going to help him. And as you can tell, like I was out all day long in the sun. You were out all day long. I mean, you're all the time in the sun.
And I don't put anything on.
And we're doing well. So like I'm the guinea pig for this. Like, we're not going to tell you something and then us, like, you know, do something else. We're absolutely the guinea pig. We live in South Florida. We're always in the water, which a lot of times is very like reflective, right? Like you can get a sunburn just from going to the beach. So that's what we use is our suntan lotion, if any.
Yep. Next one's from Uncle Big Guy.
Week 7 of No Eat Tuesday was an easy time, except as I went to bed, a commercial of a very big and juicy hamburger was on. I resisted. Hope all are well and meeting your goals. Posting my weekly fast is helping me stay with it. And that's why we talk about community. Community is not just for you to just make friends, but it also provides accountability, instant accountability. Because if you're like, hey guys, hold me accountable to this. You need to see a post for me every Tuesday because I've decided to fast on Tuesday. And I hear you. Sometimes it isn't that I want to necessarily go off plan, and I'm not even white knuckling it. Sometimes it's like if I've cut off my eating window or I'm like, I'm going to bed, I don't need anything else for the day. We were watching like a movie and I saw a very appetizing food come across that movie. And it's like 10 o'clock at night. I had no plans to eat, but suddenly because I see the actor eating something delicious, I'm like, if he offered me a bite through the screen, I would absolutely eat something right now. And I remember like telling myself this was happening last week. And I said, Rachel, you're going to bed and you're going to wake up and you're going to have breakfast. You'll be fine, right? Sometimes we just have to like talk to ourselves. This is just great marketing. And it's like, if the commercial is doing its job, if the person who's created the commercial is doing its job, should cause you to salivate, right? Like that's why they're getting paid to make the commercial. So good job on the commercial and good job to Uncle Big Guy for holding fast on your plans.
Next one is from Lana.
Hey, Lana. I discovered something about myself yesterday. I generally don't eat breakfast, but did get hungry yesterday morning. I had a repairman coming over at any time, so decided not to fix myself a big breakfast. I opted for an ounce of pork rinds instead. I could not get full for the rest of the day. A small breakfast is only going to pique my hunger. If I don't have time for a big breakfast, then I'm better off with no breakfast at all.
And this is one of the things that we talk about all the time and Dr. Berry talks about all the time. It goes back to even where we were looking before with calories and stuff. When you eat until you're full. Like, if you're only having an ounce of pork rinds, if you're having a few nuts, and I'm absolutely guilty of this, you're having a meal,
right?
But it's not a very good meal. And no matter what it is, if you have like, I'm going to have one bite of a hamburger, I'm going to have like a half of a hard-boiled egg or one hard-boiled egg. If it's not going to fill you up, we're eating a perfectly keto food.
Yeah.
But because it doesn't fill us up, that was basically calories, and now we're going to want to eat again in a half hour. And then, so if you're doing that several times throughout the day, that's where things kind of start trickling in. So it's always best, eat until you're full. Satisfy your hunger hormones, and then you won't need to eat. Otherwise, these are the kind of things that happen.
Well, and kind of in that same vein, something that like my mom had to deal with is like, if you are too busy and rushed to even just sit down and enjoy the meal, like honor the meal, then that's another reason to skip it, you know? And my mom was like, you know, she always had in her mind, you know, as a teacher to like, she had a very short window of at lunchtime, right? So she was really used to just like, I'm eating on the run, I'm standing up, I'm making the photocopies that I need for like, you know, the lesson that's going to follow, you know, lunchtime. And so I just stand up and eat my lunch. And it's been really hard for her to stop and like sit down and eat. She was just used to standing up even after retirement, like still standing in the kitchen eating her lunch as if it's not happening, right? And so she was like, a lot of things could creep. Snacking really creeps into a day if you don't just like sit down, but like sitting down, honoring mealtime. If you are too busy to sit down and eat your meal, then you're too busy to eat. And she's like, it's amazing how I was able to like, I want to eat and I made time for it.
Yeah. We have one more. I thought you would really like this one. It's from Susie.
Oh, hey,
Said,
Susie.
I saw this and couldn't help thinking of Joe and Rachel when they're diving. I was watching a show called 10 Steps to Avoid a Shark Attack. I was really surprised that stay out of the water wasn't step one.
Right? That seems like common sense, right? But maybe it's something that everybody could bring into this week. Like if you're making, if it's of utmost importance, I never want to have a situation where I even see a shark, then yeah, staying out of the water will work. If you are like, I am worried about snacking or like binging on something, or if I bring this home, it's going to be a problem with me. Maybe step one is don't interact with it at all, right? Like just stay away from it and it's not going to bite you in the butt.
It's funny. So like you don't want to see a shark when you go diving.
I don't.
Right? Even though they're not going to bother you. I had a mom, a son, and a girlfriend as my clients this weekend. All the girlfriend wanted was, I want to see a shark. And I'm like, I can't promise you a shark. Can you find me a shark, Joe? And I'm like,
did you find one?
No, we did not see a shark. We saw a turtle. She's like, I really want to see a shark. And, and again, she really reminded me of you.
Yeah.
She's a brand new diver. She got certified on Thursday. Took her a little time to get down, but once she's down, she's like, la da 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 da. She's like
she has ear issues also?
No, she breathes a lot going down, like nervousness.
Okay.
And so it would make her not be able, even though she had plenty of weight on, she just couldn't get off the surface. But once I can get her like 5 or 10 feet down, she was fine. But it was like almost like a bit apparent. It did take a little bit of time to equalize. But once she got down there, she was just la-da-da-da-da, really, really relaxed about it. Very much like you are. And doesn't want to be deep. And the next thing you know, she's at 45, 50 feet, which is what we're going to do at you. So, you take them down because, again, when they tell you 50 feet, you don't have to be at 50 feet. It's just that's the deepest of the sand. But she just wanted to see a shark. But I was like, unfortunately, the sharks are over on the other side of the reef where it could drop down to 90 feet. And I'd have to take you out there, but she's not certified to be out there. And I'm like, and I want you to see the cool stuff. So you have your choice. We can possibly see a hammerhead or a bull shark like way out in the distance. Or I can take you on the western ledge where I know I'm going to find moray eels and lobsters and lionfish and sea turtles and maybe some manta rays, like lots of cool fish. So you can get a chance to see something or definitely see a bunch of cool stuff.
I say cool stuff.
So you have to make that thing. But it is kind of funny. Yeah, like just don't get in the water. Yeah, just don't buy it. Like, I don't want to have a problem with nuts. So what's the best solution?
Don't bring home nuts.
Don't buy nuts.
Don't buy it. Don't bring it.
Yeah, if you don't have them, you won't have the issue.
We do not have cheese cubes in the house right now. Like, and you've frozen whatever cheese curds.
No, I didn't freeze them. I know you thought I froze them, and you told Debbie that, but yeah, no.
You ate them all. Oh, okay, so you're out.
I'm out.
But I'm
out of cheese curds.
But we're not purchasing new ones.
No, we are not purchasing new cheese curds.
So because there's no cheese curds and no cheese squares in the house right now, what is the percentage that you're going to eat this week? 0. Because they're not here.
There is cheese in the house. And with you gone this weekend, I may or may not have eaten cheese on my chicken. We did not vlog this weekend, but I may have taken chicken and put cheese on it. And somebody did purchase frying cheese. I don't know who bought that.
I did not buy that.
I tried that. And then I made Egg Life pizzas. So I ate a decent amount of cheese. And actually, I ate a decent amount of cheese yesterday. I was very good on Friday. Okay. And then I had a horrible sleep. And this morning, my hand was numb a lot. And again, we have this problem. I know I'm narrowed it down. I believe I have a pinched nerve somewhere in my elbow.
Okay.
I'm starting to see a pattern that when I eat a lot of cheese, my hand gets numb. Like, It's causing inflammation.
That could be pinching adding
the nerve.
Oh, man.
I'm really hoping that maybe it's just me. Or maybe it's God's way of going, hey, dummy, stop eating cheese. It's not that good for you to eat the amount that you eat. You know, I don't know. Maybe it's just my mind. But it's kind of coincidental that every time I seem to eat a lot of cheese, I'm not talking about a little bit of cheese, but a lot of cheese, those are the nights where my hand really bothers me. And what happens is it goes numb, you know?
It could be.
And I know it's that the doctor determined, it is a pinched nerve.
Somewhere.
But, yeah, maybe I should...
It could be the dairy, but I will answer one thing for you. God is not calling you a dummy. He's like, I love you, Joe. I love you, and I want you to maybe stop eating so much. Like, I mean, I gave you some cows, but, like, you're just out of control with the cheese, okay? Just out of it.
Well, that is going to be the end of today's Keto Beyond the Couch. We do have some videos coming out this week. We will be live one more time this week on Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, before we do go, I'm trying to figure out what we're going to do because this is episode 220 for Keto Beyond the Couch. This is the only thing that we've been consistent with in 5 years. We have never missed a Keto on the Couch / Keto Beyond the Couch. We have never missed one.
Never.
We are consistently inconsistent with the exception of Keto Beyond the Couch. I do not... Well, first of all, next Monday, we will be on the cruise. So it cannot be live. That's for sure. The only option would be to pre-record it maybe early and upload it and release it, but I don't even think you will be able to premiere it because I think we will be in conferences.
Right.
So...
Wow.
I don't know... we might pre-record it from our hotel room on Friday or Saturday because the cruise starts on Sunday. So just so everybody knows, next week's, if there is a Keto Beyond the Couch, yes, please, right? It will be a pre-recorded Keto Beyond the Couch.
That is for definite.
That is absolutely for sure. And so it may be a little bit shorter one because we're going to have less days of comments and things like that. But we are super excited for the keto cruise next week, low carb keto cruise.
I'm so excited.
Amazing speakers, amazing time. We're going diving. We're going to the Mayan tour, right? We're going to tour the Mayan temples. And then we just booked a golf cart ride.
I am very excited about that. That's going to be fun. Well, you're no like speed racer.
No? Why not?
Well, because
speed up and down through...
No, we gotta act right because it's a golf cart. Like I could just see you acting the fool.
I may or may not get a souped up one though. Maybe
Lord.
little extra, like, you know, Tim the Toolman Taylor. Guys, thank you so much for joining us, and we will see everybody live on Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time.
We love you.
Bye.